Hey guys, this video is just to help you work through this case study on economics, resources, and the Civil War. So that's the only thing that we're going to do here. If you need a refresher about the Civil War, well, I don't have a video for that just yet. I likely will soon. If you need a refresher on what resources are, see the video posted to my YouTube channel as well. All right, here we go. Part one of the historical background part, right? So in this part, you're going to basically read this part for background information about the Civil War. Maybe you've never heard of the Civil War before. If you've never heard of the Civil War before, this might be a good place for you to kind of start about some of that background information that's going on with it. So that's kind of the first part of it. It's important that you read this part as well, because without reading this part, what's going to happen is you may not understand what's going on in the later parts of this case study activity. Right. Next part is highlight the important information. There's nothing wrong. This is yours to keep, mark it up. Make sure that you know quickly where to look. So if you have to write an opening paragraph about this and you need to describe when the Civil War started, this piece of information will be very important for you guys to highlight. All right. So feel free to highlight all of that important information. Next, part two, you guys are going to take a look at some resources, some documents, and write some short responses. So the first thing is examine the resources, right? In this one, we have Union and Confederate resources in 1860. You can see population and railroad mileage. Now, it doesn't give you exact figures, but it kind of does show you that population is, well, seemingly correspondent with railroad mileage. Anyways, in this, basically what types of resources are shown in this document? One, well, I see human resources when I see population, and I see capital resources when I see railroad. So those are two things right away that I need to be able to identify, right? So I could say something along the lines of the population is human resources and the railroad would be capital resources. And there's a few other ones there as well, all right? Make sure you guys answer incomplete sentences. I want to see you guys complete sentence on these activities, because that really is the practice for writing. This is not a practice to do something other than that. It is purely to help you guys feel more confident in your writing. So let's make sure we're using complete sentences. All right. Part three, the long response. So after you go through a couple documents, I'm going to ask you to define capital resources and compare capital resources. All right. I want you guys to put these in a paragraph, right? There's three of them. I'm asking you to write 3 paragraphs at this point, right? You do a good job here. It's going to make the back end of this project or this activity seem a little easier because you're going to have that part done. All right, so capital resources, define them. What was capital resources in the South compared to capital resources in the North? You're going to compare and contrast who had the advantage, and use the figures that we looked at in the documents to explain. When we talk about 71% of the railroad mileage was in the North, clearly the North could move more troops, more resources along the railroad than the South could on their 29% of railroad mileage. Just kind of throwing that out there for you. It's a good example there. All right, last but not least, I'm going to ask you guys to write the longest response here, and this is going to be combining the answers from questions 6 through 8 for the body of your paragraph. You may have to add some transition statements to kind of make those flow together, but basically I want you guys to start with an introduction from the first page where we looked at the history of the Civil War. Tell me what the Civil War was. Talk about resources in the Civil War. I want you to talk about capital resources, human resources, and natural resources, and I want you guys to end with a paragraph that definitively states how important resources are. So once you do that, you can do that on the paper that I give you or on a separate sheet. It doesn't matter. But once you do that, we're finished with this. Now we're going to take 2 days in class to work on this, Tuesday and Wednesday. All right. And now I can't use this video again because I just said Tuesday and Wednesday. And if I don't plan it right, then anyways, we're going to use this to make sure that we are going to kind of work on this in class over the next couple days. It means I'm going to give you a tremendous amount of time of in-class activity on this, which means that if it's not done by the end of class on Wednesday, you need to have it ready for me on Thursday, which means in the rare circumstance that I give you homework, I'm giving you a tremendous amount of time in class. Make sure you use it, answer these questions. Don't make yourself do it for homework. All right. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.